Hey guys, welcome to Cyborg Kitty. In this video, we are going to talk about search and replace. It is one of the algorithms on Free Code Camp. So the basic idea of this function is we're going to write up something which is going to take three arguments as input. The first is going to be the string itself, where all the work will be done. All the work is done. And then we have before, which is the second argument. What this is going to do is this is what we search for. Let's type that down. And then after, which is a third argument, replace it with. That's all. We're going to replace whatever we find with this third argument. So the only catch in this whole deal is this part. Preserve the case of original word when you are replacing it. So for example, if in this situation, if the store has a capital S, and then when we're replacing it with mall, we want to make sure mall also has a capital S when replacing. So pretty much preserving the original case sensitivity. So let's just type that down. Case sensitive. So we're just going to worry about it later. So at this moment, we're not going to get to this part yet. We're just going to leave that there. And let's go ahead and write up some function. So what I want to introduce to you is how replace function works. So how the replace function works out, and then how we can use the replace function in this situation, and also at the end we're going to come to the case sensitive point as well. So let's create a a string called test, and we'll call it hello world. Very creative example, as you can see. All right, so let's check out how test works with the replace, right? So we're just going to write replace. So replace takes two arguments. The first is going to be the word we want to find. So in this case, it's world. And the second is the word we want to replace it with. So let's just say something else. I don't know why I blanked out. Okay, let's just do, I don't know, let's do coffee, right? Who cares? All right, so let's type it down and let's just quickly run it. We're not worried about this at the moment. So as you can see, it finds that piece of word and then replaces it with the one that we want to. So that is what we wanted to do. So one thing this doesn't do is, of course, if you do this and run the test, you can see how, of course, the case sensitivity is not preserved, but that's one thing we also have to worry about. So if that was not the point, all you could have done is just write replace, and the work's done in the string, and then the initial word we are trying to find will be before, then the second argument in this situation is the word we're replacing it with, which is going to be after. So if you run it, there you go. So it works out in the cases where there's no case sensitivity, as you can see. But when it comes to situations where there is case sensitivity, of course, it doesn't work because it does not have the capacity to do that. So the next point is we want to manipulate after word before it comes to this point. So how do we do it? So if we're going to check if before has the first letter uppercase. If it does, so what we're going to do is before 0 is equal to before 0 dot 2 uppercase. So what this does is if it checks if the first letter of the before word is uppercase, do this. So as I said earlier, so what happens is string is nothing but array of characters together. So when you actually try to refer to certain position in the word, you're actually referring to that position's letter. So by this, we can actually refer to the first character in before word. So that's what we did. And then we checked if it is equal to uppercase. To uppercase changes the character to uppercase. So I'm just going to run it. As you can see, it turned to uppercase rest. So all I'm doing is checking if the pre-existing character is equal to the uppercase version of the character, at which point we know that this is case sensitive, the first character. All we're going to do is after equal to, we're going to manipulate after first word too. So after 0 dot 2 uppercase, plus after dot substring 1. Okay, so I used another method here. If you can see substring, what does substring do? Substring almost acts like the word itself mentioned. So it actually returns you the part of that string depending on the variables that are given to it. So for example, um, let's get that test back here. Some words, right? So that's the test argument. That's the test variable we're going to use. So if you do test dot substring, so if you do from the index 0 to 3 and then run it, you could see it gives you the returns to up to the end of the point, but not this itself. So it's almost like splice, the way splice works out. It does the same deal. So you get starting from the index and then going up to the endpoint, but not including the endpoint itself. So E is not included. So what happens if you only give one argument with the starting point and run it? It actually returns from the starting point the whole word or the rest of the string. So for example, if I what I did in this situation is I did substring 1. So since I'm already manipulating the first character here, I don't want to add the first character again. So what I'm doing instead is taking this after word, skipping the first letter, and then asking it to return the rest of the words. So if I run it, you could see the first letter is skipped and you're getting the rest of the word. So exactly that's what I did. And then since the first part is already uppercase, I just added them together, mostly like string concatenation. So you get a whole new string where there is case sensitivity. This would only happen if before also has case sensitivity. If not, this condition never goes through and you won't even get to this line 4. It just skips to the next line, which is the return. So like we wrote earlier, all we're going to do is take string dot replace before after. And then if you run this now, perfect. It works out awesome. So like I said, without this and if you run it, it still works out, but only works out when there is case sensitivity is not involved. But if you do want it to follow the case of the previous word, we have to write a piece of code to check if these case sensitive, oh my god, and then just replace it with this logic. We just turn the first letter uppercase and leave the rest of them lower. So yeah, that's pretty much about search and replace. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do hit that like button. If you want to see more of my videos, check out my channel, Cyborg Kitty. And yeah, if you want to follow me, just hit that subscribe button. And thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, I'll see you on my next video. Until then, have fun coding. Bye.